can't do it under current operating to bring it up into the budget discussions for this year. I think we also have to look the unfunded liability straight in the eye this year. We have to get serious. Right? We have, I believe that's the pensions for our past and our present employees. We need to get serious at what we're going to do about it. And do we find a way?
It's the cost of the health insurance.
No, we were supposed to have a budget. We were supposed to start.
No, it's not a health, unfunded
No.
liability is not the health insurance.
No, it's pension.
Pensions past and present and future.
Yeah, it's over $40 million.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, I understand the fact that we are short money, but we have to start, I believe it's our responsibility to integrate it into this process this year. As we start looking at the FY 2013 budget, how are we going to address unfunded liability? Because someday we may not all be here, but if we don't do something to start implementing it into our process in doing something as small as it may be, and maybe we need to drag the Finance Committee into this discussion, we do need to start addressing it. Because that debt is not getting smaller. I think we did a great job with our negotiations and our contracts, and our employees really stepped up to the plate to help reduce some of that, pension money by taking some reductions in those benefits in regards to sick leave buybacks and end of the career sick leave and things like that. We're definitely making the steps in the right direction, but the budgets need to be addressing it as well. I'd like to see your staff come in here this year really prepared. I don't want to see us go through what we went through with Mr. Fair this year. I want to be public and open about this. That whole fiasco, what happened, was not a result of anything to do with this board, and I will not accept that this year. I want them to get creative. I want them to spend the time, and when we get the presentations, I want to be able to walk away going, I know that individual came in here and was prepared. They put the time and effort into it. And I really think we deserve that, because this board, we don't have a lot of time. We put a lot of time and effort in, and I know they do too, but we all should work hard to make sure when we have those presentations that they're good, they put a lot of effort into them, and they even had some creativity associated with it.
Just in relation to that, I don't think everybody should be painted with a broad brush here, that they didn't come in prepared and creative and offer things, because I think they do, year in and year out. They did. I think there was a significant amount of misunderstanding in relation to one department chair's presentation, but to paint a broad brush that all the department heads didn't come in here prepared and creative, I think is unfair.
It is, it's a fair statement, Steve. I don't disagree with you.
So I think they do, generally they do. I found over the years they've come in very well prepared, able to justify their proposals, give us the information, and again, over the years past, recent years, we've been asking them to come in and give us what they feel they need to do in order to operate, not necessarily what they're going to end up with.
I think a better way to put it,
I mean, I think,
and I think Mike here is setting the tone for some of these things that fit right into our goals and objectives, and that is that this is the year to present budgets, not as this is the way we've done it over and over and over again. It's time to examine what we're doing, and in some cases where appropriate, make changes in how we're addressing various things, because you're not going to get extra money for IT, you're not going to get extra money for A and B and C without making some changes elsewhere. So I think it's time to examine each department and look at what they're doing. Is everything they're doing absolutely necessary, or should we be doing other things? But I mean, it's the town administrator that's got to set that initial tone based on, what.
But it was looked upon across the town. They looked upon that this board was not in control, and that we, somewhere along the way, made some mistakes in this process. Because the way that whole thing went down, it didn't look good. But you know what? We need to learn our lessons from it on both sides, and that's all I'm asking here is when they come in to be creative, I want to be able to feel like they put the effort in. I want to see some energy in all this, and I have high hopes for Elizabeth, and I really look forward to her being part of this process with us. I hope she could take some of the things that she did over in Somerville and teach us here that we could do things better on our budgets. The last thing, and related to the budgets, I had brought up about 6 months ago how we're capturing our legal services. And I was getting a little frustrated, and I think some of the board members as well. You see certain departments tend to require us to spend more money on legal services than others. And I think we should start capturing them based on the budgets. And I think we should have that data for when we go through the budget session. So when we meet with those department heads, we should also bring that part of the discussion. I'm not saying we should take the money out of their budgets, at least right now I'm not saying it, but we should make them aware. Okay, because some of this too is leadership. Some of these things that we deal with every day is a lack of leadership. And I think we just have to make sure that's upfront and that they understand we're watching it. And then if we continues on this trend, then we are going to start taking out of their budgets, because these department heads, they are leaders. They have to help us reduce some of these things. And I do see us spending money, and we're in here every month approving legal bills, and I think we should make a concerted effort to try to reduce that going forward. And I think you do that with leadership.
If you're talking about the avoidance of litigation associated with management or lack thereof in certain areas, I agree with you. I'm not sure I understand the rest of it, though.
Okay. Several months ago, we were going through a lot of issues related to the police department.
Yeah, okay, well, that's, okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I was getting a little frustrated that we're spending thousands of dollars and related to issues to the police department. We should at least capture it so we see where is our legal money going, mostly. And I do feel strongly that some of it is related to management or lack thereof. Some of the frivolous things that our town administrator has to deal with, and I mean frivolous, based on that's Mike Briscoe's opinion, takes his time and effort and the taxpayers' money to address them. And so I say, let's capture it. And let's try to work together, especially when we meet, because we don't get an opportunity to meet with these department heads too often.
Well, I guess
let's
when
take that opportunity.
I think it is captured. I think if you're talking about applying it.
I'm not
against
talking
the
about applying
budget.
it, at least right now.
No, but it is captured in the detail sheets.
But they
Every
don't
single
see it.
case.
I don't believe the department heads are presented a report to say,
Oh.
your department last year in FY 2012, the legal bills associated with issues that come out of your department was X.
Oh, okay, that's.
We've actually asked, quick answer is we've asked KMP to provide that information, to start showing on the monthly bills and accounting for hours and costs by department.
Thank you.
I've spoken with Darren, and he's going to do that.
Anything else, Mike?
Sorry, I'm gonna try to speed it up here. Truck exclusion. I missed that meeting, but I did read the minutes that we didn't end up approving tonight. You guys, did you actually grant a truck exclusion? I know Dick said in the minutes that
It's
you
got a
can
few
do
more
it.
steps to go.
Okay.
It's several
I
more
wasn't-
steps to go.
I wasn't 100% sure from what we were
Yeah,
at.
the good news is the first phase is that, in
Okay.
fact, we can proceed down the path.
And so if somebody has the action, they're going ahead to do that.
And that's great.
We expect
Public
it-
Works.
Yeah, was it February? He was
Public
looking to
Works,
get
right.
back to us in February, I think at some point, end of January.
Thank you.
February.
And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean?
Mike's turn? You done? You sure you don't have anything else?
He's used up everybody else's time, but.
I told you.
Well,
Hey,
it's-
we're running, it's only 8 o'clock.
As Michael said, I wish Chief Nolan a long, happy, healthy retirement. Thank him for his service to this community. I also wish to congratulate Chief Murphy in his recent appointment. I thought last Tuesday's ceremony was a tremendous ceremony on behalf of this town, on behalf of him and his family. I look forward to his success and his department's success and his leadership for our police department. A couple of things. I believe back in November sometime, just before Thanksgiving, we had brought up the issue of the elderly trash exemption.
Yes.
And I just don't know where it stands at this point. I thought policy was going to be formulated and we were going to have a first reading of it sometime soon.
We were going to have it ready for tonight. I just wanted to have the Board of Assessors give one last look at it.
Okay.
And promise that it'll be before you at your next
So it'll
meeting.
be on our agenda for
You're
next
welcome.
meeting? Fine.
And other than that, just, it was mentioned earlier this evening, there is a school project informational session next Wednesday evening, the 18th, at the high school auditorium at 7 p.m. Come out, hear about the project. By that point, we should have all the financing information on the project in terms of what the reimbursement amount's going to be from the state. And we should have tentative dates anyhow for the, as we discussed this evening, for this special town meeting and special election. So come out and hear about the project.
Is it gonna be televised, Sean?
I believe it might, the last one was.
The last one was, yeah,
Last
so
one
it's
was.
open. So those folks that can't make it, obviously they can catch it on.
Well, I'd go so far as to say that it is really an opportunity for those that are just hearing about this, that haven't been totally engaged in the project along the way, to come out and at least find out, what the project is about.
And if I could make a plea to the public as well, a lot of them can't make it to a lot of these informational hearings, but can they at least maybe send questions to the Board of Selectmen, or should they send them directly to the Secondary School Building Committee in the form of an email or something, things that they really want to get answered, but they can't either attend, or maybe they're a little embarrassed to
I
ask?
think they should go to the building committee.
What should they do?
They can send an email to Secondary School Building Committee. They can contact
On their
me.
website, they can get that
On
there?
the website, there is an email address that they can send an email to. They can contact me with any questions, as I'm a member of that committee.
In order to go to the website, they have to know the,
You're gonna put me on the spot.
There's a link, right?
well, if you had the
No, if
link,
you-
maybe in the process
think
of Bob's
if you
report,
Google-
it would show up in the paper, you know?
And I could find it, but I believe if you access the town,
Hold on. There you go.
And Jeff's gonna get it.
if you access the
Our
town.
technology genius here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Is it there?
It should be on here, but I'm not finding it.
It's www.nrssbc.org. It's www.nrssbc.org.
Okay, and the Secondary School Building Committee email address is ssbc@northreadingma.gov. How's that? It's pretty good, thank you,
It's
Jeff.
great.
You're welcome.
And I do encourage people at home, and if you're writing something in the paper with the patch, to please welcome people to submit their questions, written questions, and then somebody will get back to them directly, because we want to make sure we can answer as many of the questions as possible.
Michael, did you finish for me?
No, I just thought I'd jump in there, so I'm on a tear tonight. I apologize. It's the new year.
No, that's all right.
Realize that the full moon really did have that much of an effect on it.
All right.
When you're bald, no, it does tend to affect you differently.
Other than that, now that Michael finished for me, I'm all set.
Jeffrey?
Okay. I don't know if I can live up to all this stuff, but first of all, I too want to congratulate Chief Nolan on his many years of service and his retirement. Also, our new chief, Murphy. Congratulate he and his family, and the whole police department. You know, attending the ceremony was very interesting. You can see there's a lot of pride in our police department. They stood tall at the ceremony, and they put what I would think was their best foot forward in honoring the new chief. And so my congratulations goes to the entire police department in that regard. The other thing is, I had a conversation with Stephanie Baker at the Cultural Council. The Cultural Council offers grants throughout the community for any kind of, I shouldn't say any kind of program, but if you have a program that you want to display that reflects of North Reading, you can go to them and they can provide grants. What they do need, though, Greg, is that they're short a member, and they'd like to have an ad put out for one more membership. And I told Stephanie Baker that, because she said that she can write it, that's not a problem. I think they've done that before. So, but they'd like to do that. I can have them work through either Karen or Jackie to accomplish that. All right. Other than that, I guess Happy New Year, really. I mean, the year is just starting, so I just hope for sure this is a great year for everybody. That the economy turns around for all of us.